Welcome back, and congratulations to Brad.
Thank you.
Tripling your win total. That's got to feel pretty good.
I mean, it doesn't feel bad, especially because I kind of call shot it against Raptor. Not that he'd play Red Devotion, but that he would just play something just weird. And
Yeah, that
and
was a tough read.
yeah, I just knew that his range was infinite with standard, but like a deck that just like ramps into a Tarka might just beat everything unless he just goes back to Esper Dragons. But I didn't think he would.
Okay. Now, is Green Devotion a deck that you like in the current standard, or you just thought it had a good matchup against Raptor?
It's a deck that I like. It depends on where the metagame falls, but for um, like Magic Online, I've been playing it a lot, and it just feels fine. I was on Adrian Sullivan Blue Black for the longest time, but it doesn't
Wow.
beat Obzon. Yeah, like I was playing it forever, but it doesn't beat Obzon Control. Like it's good against the version that Owen's playing with Deathmatch Raptors, but the version that just plays lines like the Lucas Xiao version that's pretty popular right now. It just gets smashed. So I've been giving up on that, trying to play Devotion, and I thought it would be a good week with my bracket. Just a lot of green decks in general.
I also like playing decks that are just generically powerful when you don't really
Mhm.
know what your opponents are going to play. Like playing an Esper Dragon deck, and you're like, well, do I play Thoughtseize? Do I play Ultimate Price? Do I play Foul Tongue? Do I play Bioblight? Like, it's hard to know those answers, whereas Green Red, it's like, well, I'm going to cast a Tarka.
And that's true. And in the SSL so far, I've just been playing, more sophisticated decks and just getting destroyed. So I thought I'd just like ramp into the biggest thing in the format and see what happens. And that kind of helped.
Now, anything interesting come up from your perspective in that semifinal against Andrew?
I realized I mean, obviously I won game one, but I realized a turn late that I should not be attacking on the ground and just trying to race in the air and hope that my Tarka lives because the Strength from the Fallen, I was more worried about a Night Howler in his hand, but I forgot that the Strength of the Fallen triggers itself. Like until like the turn before, like that, there was a turn where I was like pausing on attacking with Pelucros or not. Right then, I realized that Strength of the Fallen triggers itself. It's not a card I've really played much with,
Sure.
and from that point on, I realized that I couldn't attack on the ground. But I mean, it was interesting because we were in a race, but it wasn't on the board. So I do like his strategy as something that's fun and casual. But against like a deck like Green Red Devotion, it really needs to have an insane draw to beat that deck.
Yeah, it felt like you guys are doing similar things, but yours are just way better.
Yeah, and any mulligan both times, but that might be a deck build issue as opposed to just an archetype issue, or just the variance of it. Like I bet he has to keep less hands than I can.
Right. He doesn't have nut draws. Like you have
Yeah,
turn three Whispered Elemental nut draws. His turn four Thunderbreak Regent, turn five like play two things or something.
yeah. Wait, who are we
Oh,
talking
sorry.
about?
I thought we were
Yeah.
talking about. I thought you were talking about Josh's deck because that matchup seemed completely not close.
Oh yeah, Randy said semis.
Oh,
The
okay. I
quarters,
heard quarters.
yeah, the quarters was just a joke. That matchup can't beat Green Red Devotion. Like I don't know what Raptor thought I was going to play, but it obviously wasn't Devotion because that deck's just too slow. It's the same thing with like Green Red Dragons versus Mardu Dragons. Even though Mardu
Right.
has the removal, they're just too fast for you. So
Yeah. Give me your take on standard broadly construed. I'm sure you've been playing a lot of it, getting ready for you've got an invitational play this coming weekend, right?
yeah,
Oh,
and
oh,
I've
you mean
actually
Bradley construed?
oh
I didn't mean Bradley construed, but you're welcome to.
so what's the question?
What where do you think if you had a big tournament to play tomorrow or this coming weekend? I don't necessarily want you to out yourself if you're trying to keep that secret. But I am curious where you think you want to be in standard right now.
The one thing that I will say is I do not want to be in the Obzon world because it's really cannibalistic at the moment. Where if you want to play Obzon, you have to be fighting other Obzon decks and have such a dedicated plan for each variation.
Okay.
Because there's so many trumps in the mirror, like Wingmate Rocks or Elspeths or Glares, uh, self-inflicting wounds that like you just have to dedicate so many of your extra slots that all your other matchups get a little bit weaker. And if people are attacking you with decks like Green Red Devotion, where you usually can beat them because you have like four ultimate prices and these maybe even Abza Negro has Surox that can just get under them. and all of this aggression, you can't really play with all those cards. So you're just inherently weaker against every other archetype, even though you are playing Rhino, so your win percentage is still really high. I just can't find a version of Abzan I like that beats Abzan and enough of the rest of the field.
Fair enough. Well, thanks for chatting with us. We're going to
Yep.
go watch the other semifinal now, see if we can get you an opponent for the finals. So
I'm hoping it's my housemate. I'm not gonna lie, even though I think it's a worse matchup. We've been wanting it for a while, so I'm rooting on Tom.
All right, we'll let you go root on Tom, and we will get down to the match. Here's where we are. Brad Nelson is through to the finals. He is waiting for the winner of Tom Ross against Owen Turtenwald. Tom is on Bant Heroic. It's deck he's played, I guess, twice, and then Brad played it once. Owen is playing the same deck he won week 4 with. It's Abzan Control. It's 60 of Yugi Ichikawa's 61 cards.
Well, see, yeah, I do like that it was 61 to begin with, but it is funny that that Owen did identify a card to cut.
Yeah. And I think the second Tassiger in that list, certainly watching it 2 weeks ago, it did feel like it could live without the second Tassiger.
It's not a card you really want to draw multiples of. And honestly, though Tassiger is a cool card and pretty good, Tassiger has not taken any format by storm exactly.
Yeah, it's been relevant up and down the line. I mean, all the way from standard to vintage.
Right.
It hasn't taken any of them by storm. All right. We're almost ready for the game. What's going on? All right. All right. Well, we've got a minute or two. Chat's been buzzing about it. I know that one of the big stories coming out of Las Vegas this weekend was the decision to take a foil Tarmogoyf first pick pack 2. I actually meant to ask Brian Kibler about this because, hilariously, he did exactly the same thing at the World Championships a couple of years ago. Well, not exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
He did pick a Tarmogoyf out of the pack 2.
So Brian's done 2 things. One, he took Tarmogoyf at Worlds, but that was when he was playing green and it was the best pick for his deck.
Yeah, no.
He then passed on Tarmogoyf for Search for Tomorrow. So clearly there he was just drafting his deck. It just happened to be Tarmogoyf.
I think it's just worth pointing out that Tarmogoyf is a very good card to take. Brian, in fact, did first pick one. I think it was the best card for his deck.
Right.
The difference with Pascal, of course, being a red-white deck. No, we all knew that it wasn't.
Well, Brian did, take an Arid Mesa at GP Austin or PT Austin, the one he won, and that was a straight-up rare draft. So he's definitely done that before. I don't think it's like a super interesting topic. Honestly, I understand it's gotten a lot of buzz. I think that I would not have done it because I value winning the Grand Prix a lot, but I also don't fault anyone for making a choice that they think is the best. And given the recent buzz, it looks like Pascal may have made the wise move. I don't know. He is he's generating some excitement with that Goyf. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I'm in basically the same place. I know the chat was curious to get my take on it because I haven't really said anything about it.
I would have been able to guess you would take the Burst Lightning like 100% because you care about winning.
100% take the Burst Lightning, and a lot of it just comes down to wanting
you want to win,
valuing the Grand title more than money.
Yeah, but I can't tell someone that they value a different thing less than me and they're wrong. I don't think. Like, at least not in this case. In some cases you can, in some cases you can't. But here, like, I just put the value of winning a Grand Prix really high. That's why I go to Grand Prix.
Meanwhile, Tom Ross coming out with a 1-drop. Owen building up his mana.
And here, Tom does not actually have a bad draw here. He doesn't have anything pumped up quite yet, but having multiple 1-drop, spells to pump up your heroic guys is exactly what you want when you start with some cheap heroic guys. Do you want a good mix? Probably drawn one too many 1-drop creatures, but Owen is, kind of. This is one of the problems I have with Abzan. I mean, it's clearly a great deck. It's been great since it's been in Standard, but it just gets to play 1 spell per turn. For the next 4 turns, Owen can play 1 spell per turn. Those are good spells, but sometimes you want to play multiple spells, and Tom drew a Jamoka's Command, which is going to be fairly relevant here.
Oh, man. That Siege Rhino is the card on the top of Owen's library due to Courser of Crucifix. We can put that up there. And now, what exactly do you think Tom should do? He does, yeah, he's got the Windswept Heat, so we can go get the green mana. How would you play this Dramoka's Command?
I like killing the Courser and making one of my hoplites say 3/4 by putting a +1 counter on it. I think, and you smash for 4 with God's Willing up, and then next turn you can set up Defiant Strike. That seems like a good start to me. I think the only other option would be to cast Defiant Strike and then cast some command. You could Defiant Strike and then command Fighting and command +1/+1ing. That actually might be better.
If he gets to choose a fight and a +1/+1 counter, he gets to target his guys twice. Right, making Owen sacrifice an enchantment doesn't actually target one of his hoplites. The trick is, can he get one of the hoplites up to 4 power in order to kill the Courser? And with Defiant Strike, it seems like maybe he can.
Yeah, he can Defiant Strike, making it a 3 power, and then target it to fight, making it a 4 power, and then target the other one to get a counter. So you end up with, at the end of the day, you end up with 2, 3, 4 hoplites. That actually sounds best to me. You don't have God's Willing up, but both of your creatures are of equal stature, so you don't really need to protect one.
And he probably knows that Owen can only play 1 spell a turn. That is how the Abzan deck works. So, great. You have the ability to kill one of my 2 guys. Maybe that's okay to take the God's Willing shield down. And obviously, if Owen's going to block, then...
I don't think... I mean, yeah, I don't really love blocking here. I mean, Dramoka's Command takes down your creature no matter what, so maybe blocking is better. What does Owen run the risk of? Maybe double Defiant Strike is the disaster here? Looks like no blocks.
Yeah, it does look like no blocks. But now, of course, Tom's going to do everything for combat damage. Yep, he's going the Defiant Strike route, which has Mana Confluence.
Which I like. I like that as an option.
Yeah, the only drawback to playing it this way is Tom doesn't have God's Willing up.
But both creatures are equivalent now, so you don't need it as much.
Agreed. Yeah, no, I think this makes a lot of sense. So take 7 and lose your Courser.
And time for Siege Rhino to start coming out.
I mean, that seems good, but the little hoplites are actually going to be big enough to fight Siege Rhino here.
Well, if Tom doesn't draw another way to target them, like Tom is heroic creature flooded now.
Yeah, so, he does have too many creatures. I guess the God's Willing only gets it to 4 or 5, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 more 1-drops is not really where this deck wants to be.
Because now Owen can just block, and God's Willing to make your creature bounce is not very, very good. So Tom can just drop 3 more 1-drops and then pass, hoping to draw some way to target them. Like an attack here doesn't seem all that impressive. I guess you don't even need to play the 3rd 1-drop. You might as well keep God's Willing up now. So if you're Owen, you got to be pretty happy about that turn.
Yeah.
Now you get to, I think... Actually, I like just passing. I was going to say play Death Mist, but passing leaves Abzan Charm up. And then if Tom doesn't do anything end of turn, then you can just draw 2 cards, because you really do want to hit your 6th land here.
This draw is showing one of the
weaknesses.
One of the ways in which the heroic deck can be kind of fragile.
Yeah, basically any heroic deck, I mean, because it needs to draw a combination of ways to target heroic creatures and heroic creatures, if it draws a mismatch, it doesn't work out. Same as if you draw 1 creature and they kill it, then you have 3 pump spells in your hand.
Wow.
Question is, does Tom just pass now? Because if he casts God's Willing and then gets Abzan Charm, it's very bad for him.
Yeah, he was just willing to sacrifice that hoplite in order to get through 5 damage.
Yeah, that seems like a good deal. It's not like Tom's short on hoplites.
Right. I mean, he loses a good one. He loses a 3/4, but like you say. And now you're drawing 2 cards with this? If you're Owen?
Now I would just pick off the big hoplite, because if you draw a land, great. You can play Elspeth, and if you don't draw a land, then you're in a pretty good board state here.
Looks like that is the mode that Owen has chosen.
I think just one of the ways Owen's in actually decent shape. One of the ways you lose this game, I think, is to like draw 2, lose 2, and then not find a way to play Elspeth.
Now, how bad is it for Owen that Tom gets to defend his hoplite with that God's Willing?
It's not great for Owen. He's got another Obzon Charm he can untap into. If I expect Owen, if he doesn't draw land, to just Charm again. Otherwise, you can just play. You're high enough level, you can just play Elspeth, make tokens. Even if Tom has a way to make his hoplite unblockable, you don't die in one hit. So I think you're in decent shape.
Yeah, and Owen also knows Tom's out of cards. Like Tom is empty-handed
Yeah.
and just playing off the top. Wow, Owen did draw the 6th land.
Owen could Obzon Charm plus Death Mist here. He's got basically two viable options.
Yeah, so it's either Elspeth make 3 tokens or charm away the hoplite and play Death Mist.
I like playing Elspeth here. I think that Elspeth is the card that sets you up the most, because if Tom doesn't have an answer, then Elspeth is just going to crush him. And if he does have an answer, you then get to play your other plan. Whereas if you play Charm Raptor, you're not really getting ahead. You're just kind of, yeah, you're getting slightly ahead. You're not really crushing. Whereas now you're in much better shape.
Owen did draw a targeting spell off the top.
You get to draw cards if you put it on the big hoplite. So drawing 2 and then hoping to draw. Could Tom? Tom could try to string in if he drew God's Willing plus Defiant Strike
right?
after attacks before blocks. That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean the creature's going to get up to 5 power or 6 power, 5+1/+1 counters. So God's Willing would get it to 7. He needs to string Defiant Strike.
Right. He needs both.
Yeah, 2 targeting effects, one of which is capable of giving protection from white, would actually win Tom the game on this attack. Everybody else just stays home on defense. Oh, maybe not.
You might as well attack here. The tokens don't crush you, and you lose a card to Siege Runner, but that's not that big of a deal.
All right, he did draw God's Willing, but a second card with Windswept Heat. Wow, now what?
I don't think you want... You can burn the God's Willing to deal 7, but then you have no way to finish the game. It almost feels like you want to just wait and try to do it in one shot.
I mean, he actually, one of these creatures gets through if he doesn't play God's Willing. Somebody gets through for 1. So he's actually only get +6 by burning the God's Willing.
Yeah. You do get to scry, though. There are a lot of cards Tom could draw that would help out here, so scrying for 1 is not bad.
Yeah, you also get lifelink off the Seeker, but that doesn't seem super relevant. Right now, though, we're on Owen deciding how to block, or is this still Tom deciding? No, it's still Tom deciding. Yeah, that long think.
Looks like I think he's just going to go for it here. It being putting Owen down to low life, but not actually winning the game right away.
Yeah, God's Willing on that hoplite. Protection from white will be the choice. What's the card that he's seeing? I don't think we know. Yeah, we can't see what this card is. It was a Monastery. Monastery Mentor was the card, but would have been useful 3 or 4 spells ago. In this situation, though, heads to the bottom.
Yeah, Mentor's for sure not what you want. So Tom can now, pick off a hoplite and then jump off, or Owen can pick off a hoplite and jump a hoplite?
It looks like he's willing.
Or even just take 1, potentially. So take 7, 8, you go to 1, but then you can't tap your Llanowar Wastes anymore, which I think is also relevant.
So those blocks seem great. It's just a question of whether...
Yeah, the question is whether you throw away a token for a life point. And Owen, I'm sure, is trying to think of what his attacks are going to look like over the next couple turns, what his plays are going to look like. Owen is, whether he blocks or not, is dead to another God's Willing if he doesn't play the Death Mist Raptor. So
he
I
has
assume
what, 2 green mana right now that are pain free,
yeah, so he could still play the Raptor here.
but he can't play Raptor and Charm.
No, he can't do that. I think unless he chumps and draws an untapped painless land, which is not super likely.
So you're willing. So yeah, just having this Llanowar Waste be done to colorless mana seems okay. And that's where Owen landed. Down to 1. Den Protector, which...
Well, Tom's the one who has to draw out here. I mean, Owen is at 1, but I think...
Yeah, it's on Tom. Tom needs to draw a way to make somebody unblockable. And if he does that, he can probably win the game. If he can't do that, he's in trouble.
The good thing about losing Tom's hand cam here is that if Tom draws God's Willing, we'll find out. And if he doesn't, there's not a whole lot that matters.
Any other outs, or is it just the God's Willing?
Well, Treasure Cruise can string together a bunch of things.
Some of these decks play in Aqueous form.
Yeah, Tom had an Aqueous form in play against Jerry, so...
It's in his sideboard. 2 Aqueous form in the sideboard.
Against green decks is my assumption.
Mana Confluence is not going to get the job done. How many turns does he have?
Not very many, because Elspeth's just... At the very least, Elspeth goes ultimate very soon here.
Yeah,
God's Willing is not even close to an out. I mean, there's a colorless creature in play. I just realized that the Death Mist Raptor got played face down for that reason. Now, that way, Owen can't... he wanted to play around double God's Willing.
Yeah, just having a green creature would certainly defend him against 1 God's Willing. Right. Having a colorless creature defends him against 2 of them.
So Owen gets to plus Elspeth, and then almost like doesn't need to do anything else here. Just play another morph here. So next turn, Tom is just going to die just with the 2 morphs and the Elspeth on 7.
Aqueous form would get the job done, but those are in the sideboard.
It would, though. Tom would have to put it on a smaller creature to not get Albs Uncharmed.
He would see that. Tramoka's Command probably doesn't do anything relevant here, does it?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's a way to force through a damage or do anything to Elspeth. I'm trying to see if there's a way out of here, because Jamoka's Queens offers you a lot of options. I don't blame him for considering, but definitely. I don't think it's going to do the trick. Maybe Owen doesn't attack with enough creatures, but I think Owen's just going to attack with everything.
Yeah. Tom shifts the turn back. Elspeth goes ultimate. Everybody's gigantic and flies. Yeah, Owen's just sending in all
of them. Some of the chat asks, why didn't Tom take the Burst Lightning? That's topical humor.
Burst Lightning would have got the game done. Got the game won, but no. Owen Turnwald's up a game.
We've never heard that before.
In other news, water is wet, and the sun is going to come up tomorrow morning. Wow, yeah. Tom got close. I don't know that there was any way to get through that 1 last point of damage.
It was close, but it was also not close in the sense that I don't once Owen played the face down creature, I don't think Tom really had any good outs. Like,
Yeah, it was close in the sense that Tom really needs to get through that first burst of damage is what he wants to win with.
right.
And, replace any one of his creatures with a spell, and he does win, I think. He just kind of got flooded with dorks and didn't have the ability to bust through a creature. Didn't have the ability for an enhancer on a key turn, didn't have the ability to answer Owen's Siege Rhino. I mean, any targeting effect on the turn where Owen played the Siege Rhino and Tom gets to attack. I don't know. I always feel like it's the fragility of the heroic deck, just like we talked about.
Yep.
Does sideboarding change anything?
I imagine it gets better for Owen. It's unlikely that it goes the other way around. We'll take a look. Yeah, Owen gets Ultimate Price and Duress are both cards that I think are quite effective in this matchup. Whereas Tom, I mean, the Obs on deck with 3-mana removal spells is kind of already where Tom starts at when looking at the cards he's trying to play against. So
Sure.
I don't think Tom's going to change a whole lot. Owen doesn't have Self-Inflicted Wound. That card can be annoying.
All right. Okay. Can we look at Tom's deck?
Yeah, Tom has
Aqueous Form?
Aqueous Form, but I don't love it against a deck that's hiding in removal and Stubborn Denial. Stubborn Denial is a fine card.
Okay. Let's go down to the game. Tom Ross has said that 5 weeks in a row he has been defeated by the eventual champion.
Well, this is a fairly medium hand for Owen here. It's got good spells, but he only has 2 lands. He just needs to draw 2 lands, and then he's okay. So Tom's hand, which I assume was a mulligan. Let's see. Yes, it looks like a mulligan.
So it gets short a card.
Is not good either. Tom has no pressure and no way to cast Treasure Cruise.
Those Treasure Cruises are in from the board? No?
Taking a look at Tom's deck here.
Oh no, 2 in the main.
Yeah, 2 in the main, 2 in the board. And Owen drew lands. Well, looks like Owen is the leader in this game, and he's up a game, so
Crazy.
yeah. One of the reasons I didn't love Owen's hand is, again, he doesn't have play till turn 3, but that's, I guess, just his deck, though after board he does have Ultimate Price and Duress, and he has Thought Seizes. It also only had 2 lands. It could just miss land drops, but since he's not missing land drops and Tom isn't doing anything, I think Owen's in very good shape here.
All true.
Also, Owen doesn't have to kick the festivities off here by casting Hero's Downfall. He can just pass the turn. Like, Tom wants Owen to try to kill his creature because then he gets to make it a 2/3 forever. Owen can just take 1. He's not losing the game by taking 1 turn. Owen now deciding whether he's going to play Temple and then just go Rhino, leaving up Crux, or leave Hero's Downfall up. I like leaving Hero's Downfall up. I would rather do that. Because you already have 2 good 4-drops. It's not like if you play Downfall this turn, you can't play Rhino next turn.
You're leaving Downfall up, but hoping you don't have to play it?
Right, I'm not going to play it unless Tom does something first. Monastery Mentor's not a bad draw, though, because Tom can play that, protect it with Downfall if Owen casts a removal spell on it.
Kind of plays into the crux of Fate that's in Owen's hand.
Right, and Owen can just sit there. And again, if he doesn't play anything, Tom can't start the chain, so...
What a bizarre game. Owen's strategy is to just not do anything Tom can react to.
Yeah.
And then Owen can not play a Rhino on turn 4. Setting up a turn 5 Crux. Is that how you play this? I mean, I think Owen's also deciding if he wants the Downfall, he should do it as a response to the Mentor so that the Gods Willing wouldn't throw off a Monk token. But Owen, yeah, I don't think he needs to deal with any of this. Crux of Fate is actually going to work out really well against this draw.
Yeah, Owen may have incentive to just play Temple of Malady here.
Right. Yeah, play that comes into play tap lane so that you can play
and
Crux
just
on
pass
turn 5.
turn. Again, Tom's the one who has to do something. Tom's attacking with a 1/2 and a 2/2 until Owen casts a spell. Unless Tom really wants to just draw like Defiant Strike.
Sure.
Oh wow. Disdainful Stroke's very good though. Owen's aware Tom has these cards and Stubborn Denial, so Owen may not just run out the Crux, but if Owen goes for Crux and Tom Disdainful Strokes, I guess Owen then just takes like 5 on his turn
And Cruxes again.
and Cruxes again. So Owen gonna lead, but this is kind of the path that is more dangerous for Owen because you go God's Willing, then you go Disdainful Stroke, and then next turn if you can cast a draw like a fetch land or something and cast Treasure Cruise, could do a decent amount of damage.
Now, why would Owen go for this Hero's Downfall when he can untap and cast Crux?
He wanted to bait out potentially a Stubborn Denial. I think
Okay.
is the main card he's looking at. Defiant Strike. Tom might actually win this game.
Ooh. Fine Strike's a pretty good one to see with that Scry trigger. Yeah, okay. Owen baited out an answer, goes for the Crux, but Tom has a second answer.
So Tom is not going to be able to play Treasure Cruise yet, but he gets to play Defiant Strike and attack for 7, 9. So he's not quite lethal. But Tom could hit a land and then be able to play Treasure Cruise. So you Defiant Strike the Hoplite,
Yeah.
trigger all your cards.
All of the monks grow to the prowess triggers.
And
The
if
new
Tom
one's gonna have
draws-
some of the sickness, but that's plus 5, 6 total power for
If
Tom.
Tom draws another spell, he could potentially win this turn.
He's your favorite hoplite.
Not quite doing it, because now he can attack for 3, 6, 10.
Wow, even land would have been good there. Land would have let him treasure cruise, right?
Yeah, land will let him Treasure Cruise and attack for 13, actually.
And
So-
spell would have been lethal. He needed to draw a non-creature. Either a
Yeah.
land or a spell would have won the game here.
Yeah. And instead, Tom's going to pass the turn. Owen's going to cast another Crux. And then Tom's going to get to cast Treasure Cruise and then cast a favorite Hoplite.
But Owen starts casting rhinos.
Yeah, this looks... I'd say Owen at this point, after the string of spells that worked out really well for Tom, Owen's still marginally ahead. Obviously, Tom's drawing 4 cards between his draw step and Treasure Cruise, so that could change rapidly. But
Well,
if he misses...
first of them is a mana conflict.
Yeah.
That's not good.
If he misses a few more times, then things are problematic.
Yeah, here's Cruise, delving everything else away. Those 3 are 2 more lands and a Defiant Strike.
Not exactly what you're looking for, because now Owen's just going to start slamming rhinos. Definitely not the time to risk playing Satyr Wayfinder and missing. Let's just put it that way. Owen considering whether he could play Satyr Wayfinder plus Courser, but I don't know if I like that. I like just playing Rhino. Rhino makes it so much less likely you get like Defiant Strike plus God's Willing Doubt.
How much damage does Defiant Strike plus God's Willing do?
4?
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so Rhino is safely above that.
I'm gonna crack fetch end of turn is my assumption. Tom, I think, is in a spot where he just if he bricks on his draw step, he just has to cast Defiant Strike and just hope to draw something off of it. Yeah, Flood String going away before the draw step.
Little bit of thinning. Ugh, and he draws Flooded Strand anyway.
Probably can't have very many targets left in his deck.
No.
Looks like Tom is not running it here. Now Owen can just attack, play another Rhino. He could even play, if he wants to take a point of damage, he could even play a Satyr Wayfinder too.
There's 1 planes left in Tom's deck that can be fetched with Flooded Strand.
Flooded Strand, unfortunately prophetic when it comes to Tom's draws here.
Tom came kind of close to this game. It's kind of like the last game. Just about a card off on a key turn.
Yeah, Tom actually got quite unlucky to not win the turn where he cast the Defiant
Yeah,
Strike.
any land does it and any spell does it.
Well, any untapped land. There are some tap lands that would not have done it.
Okay.
But yes, pretty
And
much
spell
any
Treasure Cruise would not have done it, but
yeah. But any non-creature spell that wasn't Treasure Cruise or a counter spell or any untapped land, which is a lot of Owen's deck, or Tom's deck, rather.
Okay, Owen gonna go for Courser here.
And he's giving up a little info here by playing planes instead of the Llanowar Waste off top, that he has Obzon Charm in hand, but he wants to keep up protection in case Tom has some crazy string of plays onto the Hoplite here, is my assumption. Now Tom is out of lands to fetch, right? Oh no, he got an island, so he still has the planes left.
Wow, he sideboarded in the second island.
Oh, I guess when you have the Stubborn Denial and a Disdainful Stroke, you might want more.
Apparently. I mean, it's in the sideboard for a reason. And yeah, he brought in a bunch of blue counter spells, so he brought in the island. The second island. Oh, and now on the attack.
And this is lethal if Tom doesn't block. But I don't think playing around Siege Rhino is all that spectacular anyway. I mean, you can, but it doesn't really get you anywhere.
Yeah. Tom is going to block. Gets Defiant Strike. He can cycle Defiant Strike to keep his creature around and get a Scry trigger. Card.
Yeah, I guess a card. Owen could cast Obzon Charm to deal an additional 2 damage here, if you wanted to. Didn't really need to do that exactly.
Well, there was the God's Willing. But I mean, Owen's up at 7 now.
You know, Owen is probably looking at Tom's deck list right now to figure out if casting Obzon Charm on Siege Rhino will basically do the trick, because then following up with a Siege Rhino. Probably don't need to do that, though, again.
All right, with this block, Tom only falls to 4, so he isn't dead to this additional Rhino crashing into the battlefield. Well, at least not yet.
Owen deciding whether he wants to leave up double Obzon Charm instead, potentially.
Yeah, makes sense. Oh, there's the Aqueous one.
Yeah.
So, that creature is now unblockable. And it's up to 3 power.
And Owen's certainly not going to do anything with Obzon Charm if it attacked. Now that it's end of turn, you might as well go for it.
Which he does. And now, what? Tom can save it? Yeah, he kind of has to.
Oh, just going to cast maybe another one? He could just wait on that, though.
Yeah, I mean, he can respond.
If you're going to cast it this turn, you clearly respond to not give the Scry and protection and all that. But
God's Willing will fizzle instead of resolving, therefore Tom doesn't get the Scry trigger. And Tom scoops him up. He's dead to Siege Rhino plus Courser of Graphics. Owen Turtenwald makes the finals. Stop me if you've heard this before.
No.
All right, we're going to have Owen against Brad. This is kind of I think the final we were maybe expecting to see back at the beginning of the season. Brad hasn't really delivered on expectations, but Owen sure has.
Yeah,
shattered them in
Owen might be if he wins here, he'll have won 3 weeks in a row and 4 weeks total.
Yeah,
It's pretty incredible.
it is pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Yeah, we should chat with Owen. It's become a fine tradition. Meanwhile, we should also take a quick break while we get Owen lined up for our interview and while we start getting ready for the finals. So stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back.